Friends, greetings. Further to our previous discussions, let us be on a different topic today. Topic that is very relevant, original, and contemporary, needing a discussion from all of us. The topic that we are going to have on discussion today needs complete focus, 100% attention of each one of us. But before I start the discussion today, let me tell you something. You know, the kind of atmosphere, the kind of environment, socially, politically, economically, that we are experiencing in the country, in the world today, particularly due to COVID-19 or coronavirus, is one full of pessimism, full of negativity. We do not know how we are going to tackle or how we are going to conquer this negativity or pessimism, but I can definitely make a humble suggestion to each one of you. I have already published two books. One is available internationally. The other one is available mostly in India, but it can also be made available internationally. And I am on the third book that is titled Freedom Unfinished. But I am going to discuss about my second book that is Divorce Negatives. The kind of book it is. It talks mostly about divorcing negatives of our life, your life, my life. How we can divorce negatives of our life or your life. How you can divorce negatives of your life so that we are all engaged in productive work. We are all positive. We are all full of positivity, full of optimism. This book can definitely give you or share with you certain conditions, certain lessons that benefit each one of us. I will request each one of you to go into to try to find out that book, and the details about how to find a copy of the book is given at the bottom of this discussion or this detail or narration. Now, the topic that I have taken today for discussion is COVID-19 or coronavirus, life and lifestyle of the nation. As I was telling you in the beginning, the entire world, particularly our country also, India included, entire world, the entire humankind or mankind is facing a kind of situation or time or circumstance where the future is uncertain, looks uncertain. The present is tense, and past we have already spent. That means we cannot do anything about our past. Present is already tense. We can do some course correction in the present times and make our future positive, full of positivity, on course for development, growth, richness, wealthiness, and everything, satisfaction, happiness, everything. So today I am going to discuss about how COVID-19 or coronavirus has affected our life or lifestyle of the world, but the focus of the discussion is on the nation, that is India, life and lifestyle of the nation after vis-a-vis or with COVID-19 and coronavirus. COVID-19 or coronavirus came out of blue and engulfed entire world in no time. It originated from China in December 2019 and swiftly and furiously it covered the whole world. In just 10 months, it has infected almost 40 million or 4 crores of people across the world, and it killed 1.2 million or 1.2 crore people worldwide. India is no different. USA is number one in terms of total infections. India is number two in terms of total infections. And in terms of the total number of deaths, I think India is number 3 or 4. No country is out of its net. The danger or the dangerous signals or symptoms of COVID-19 or coronavirus is on the entire world. Every country is affected. No country can claim to be immune from this disease or this pandemic. And this pandemic has no symptoms, or it keeps changing its symptoms to have a longer life. Despite being busy or engaged in the research to find vaccine for this virus, the teams are not very confident about finding the right kind of vaccine, and that is why they are predicting that finding a vaccine is very, very difficult, if not possible, extremely difficult, if not possible. Almost every country is suffering badly and hugely at its hands, socially, politically, economically. It knows only peaks and not lows. It knows peaks, peaks, and peaks. It does not know lows. In its dictionary there is no word like low. There is only one word, and that is peak, peak, and peak. In this short period, even without any Viagra intake, Viagra, you all know, we all know what is Viagra, how it is used, why it is used, in what conditions it is used, and what for it is used. In this very short period of 10 months, even without use of any Viagra or intake, it has taken 3 picks, 4 picks, 4 picks, 2 picks in some of the countries. And in other countries, it is waiting to have more and more picks. The moment a country becomes little bit relaxed, COVID-19 or coronavirus takes the tenacity and intensity to force that country into an unparalleled cell or cover, forcing lockdowns, restrictions, everything of all sorts. Perhaps it remembers and follows the motto of the Olympic Games. Olympic Games, each one of us knows that Olympic Games is an event that takes place every 4 years. This year it was to take place in Japan, but it has been postponed for a year. It is going to, or it is scheduled to take place in June, July, August next year, 2021. This COVID-19 or coronavirus perhaps remembers and follows the motto of the Olympic Games. Citius, Altius, Fortius is the motto of the Olympic Games, an event that symbolizes unity and exuberance of the human spirit. These 3 Latin words mean swifter, higher, stronger, and these 3 words are what being used by COVID-19 or coronavirus. They know only these 3 words. In their dictionary, only these 3 words are there: swifter, higher, stronger. And this way, it has increased its net from 1 country to 200 countries. Countries even imposed lockdown of varying degrees to contain its spread. Circulated messages like WMD, washing, masking, distancing. Nothing has succeeded. Human life is known and taught for centuries to move forward despite hardships, roadblocks, failures, mishaps, calamities, even death. Our humankind or human life is supposed or is required to move forward under any circumstances, whatever testing, howsoever testing a circumstance may be or situation may be. Even then, howsoever challenging a time may be, but even then, human life knows only one thing, and that is always move forward, always go forward. And despite this philosophy, almost 100% of the countries imposed lockdown. That means forcing human life to stop, forcing human life to have standstill. But the current generation and its short-sighted, arrogant and impractical leaders took decisions and measures inimical to mankind, violating long centuries-old traditions and practices, and that is why we are facing or experiencing negativity and pessimism all around. India is no different. The aforesaid applies to India also as well. Its current central and state political leadership has handled it short-sightedly, hypocritically, unprofessionally. Instead of providing fair, just and right environment to tackle coronavirus, the central leadership behaved in a totally destructive way and pushed India and Indian public to absolute hunger, poverty and destitution. Undemocratic values have been promoted with the help of Godi media, simultaneously killing constitutional bodies. The Disaster Management Act 2005, invoked by the central government, is skewed towards favoring the BJP leaders, activists, and affiliates across the country. It is being misused against those opposing central government decisions and policies. Even the peaceful protests and protesters are being gagged using it and other acts like Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 and the National Security Act 1980. Whatever or wherever you see particularly in the last 10 months, even some state governments and mostly central government, whenever there is a protest or there is a peaceful congregation of some people, maybe NGOs or social activists or whatever, or even people due to certain happenings or events or accidents taking place and they are assembling for a protest, all these kind of events have been dealt in only one manner: by imposing NSA, by imposing UAPA, or by imposing Disaster Management Act and putting them behind bars, by registering FIRs of all sorts and then putting them behind bars where they cannot get even bails also. They cannot come out of the jails. Lockdown-related violations by BJP leaders, activists and affiliates across the country are being conveniently ignored or overlooked, whereas the common masses and public expressing satisfaction against failures of the central government are penalized strongly. Now, The life and the lifestyle of a nation, any nation, particularly involving human life, are affected mostly on three counts, that is society, political life, and the economy. Society, polity, and economy. The today's discussion vis-a-vis COVID-19 or coronavirus, we will be focusing on these three aspects. Let us now focus our discussion, keeping India at the center. We shall discuss the life and lifestyle of our country pre and post COVID-19 on three parameters like society, polity, and economy, as I was just telling you now. First, let us be on society. Ancient India was ruled by Indians themselves. Medieval India was ruled predominantly by Muslim rulers. Modern India has been largely ruled by European Christian rulers. 75 years of rule of independent India has been demoralizing. After gaining independence, India has been ruled by ourselves for the last 75 years. But the performance post 1947 till 2020 does not augur well for the country. It doesn't fulfill the purpose that we had taken unto ourselves at the time of independence. Last 1,000 years have been abruptly transformational for India. What India was, today it is not. More than the foreign rulers, Indian rulers are responsible. Social ills or social wills that took roots during medieval and modern India could have been reversed, corrected, or promoted in the independent India to have a journey full of growth, success, and happiness. Golden opportunity has been wasted. Last 75 years provided us with a golden opportunity, but that golden opportunity has been wasted and wasted absolutely, completely. It is not that all good things were happening in ancient India, but it was perhaps much better than what it is today. 2020 appears to be worse than 1947 due to current political leadership devoid of effective and practical workable solutions for crisis being faced by the country. The country is in the midst of all kind of problems, all sorts of problems. Problems are not very ordinary. Problems are very, very highly, extremely complicated. And the political leadership of today doesn't appear to have willpower, doesn't appear to have ideas, doesn't appear to have innovations, or doesn't appear to have any inherent internal strength to tackle or handle all of them. The Indian society has undergone maximum change for the worse during last 1 or 2 decades. Individual and family, human, ethical, democratic, and inclusive values are on downward trend. Rather, the trend has gone beyond the roof in negative. The downward trend is now beyond any control. Despite having a population of 140 crores, close second with China in the world in terms of population, the Indian society is absolutely fragmented on various counts like caste, color, creed, religion, region, sex, language, etc., etc. Problems or crises are tackled best being together. When we are together, we can handle any crisis. But the predominant attitude of soloness or aloneness is failing it completely. Everybody today feels alone. Everybody today feels solo, lonely. And that is what is defeating us when we are being confronted with all kind of complicated problems, individually, humanly, familially, even society-wise or nationally. Separatism of all kind, violent as well as non-violent, has overpowered everyone physically and psychologically. So separatism is not only violent, it is also non-violent, and that is what has entered into the homes of our country today. Everybody feels some sort of or some amount of separatism in his mind, her mind, and it may be non-violent, but it is equally dangerous. It is equally harmful. Today's society believes in one-upmanship. I am always okay, you are not okay. I am always right, you are not right, you are always wrong, has become the default attitude of every individual in the country, perhaps in the world. Crimes and criminals are being supported in the Indian society shamelessly. Rapes have become a dangerous norm and taken a destructive form. The way it is being reported or the way the kind of rapes are taking place, it is really, really dangerous for the Indian society. We do not know where we are headed, in which direction we are headed. The elected leaders and representatives themselves have perhaps become symptoms, symbols, and synonyms for all bad and harmful. I think the role models of today, the political leaders or the elected leaders or the representatives or other people, they appear to carry symptoms, symbols, and synonyms of being bad, being harmful. Even women champion and support people engaged in crimes against women. This is really, really horrible, really shameful, and really pitiable that today's women also support those people who are engaged in crimes against women and children. Convoluted religiosity is a major problem nowadays as it is being taken as true spiritualism. Religiosity of diverted nature is mistaken as spiritualism. Today, real Ravans, Duryodhans, and Dushasans are moving freely on the streets, roads, highways, and even residing in homes. Thinking among common people has turned negative, destructive, suicidal, and violative of established principles and traditions for centuries. The print and electronic media are now called Godi media. Fake news and falsehood are perhaps being sponsored, circulated, and promoted by the government and its agencies. Today, it appears that the government and its agencies are promoting falsehood and fake news. It appears like that. It looks like that. Today, the Indian society is truly representative of, as is the king, so is the subject, because the kings are behaving in a totally harmful manner, destructive manner, violative manner, and that is what the subjects, that is the common people of the country, are also behaving like that. Social corruptions are both so embedded and widespread that the Indian society warrants an urgent and immediate shake-up. Naming a few here will leave many unnoticed. That means if I name you certain social ills or social corruptions, there will be many social corruptions left untouched. That is why I don't want to name any here. Social atmosphere has all the colors, trends, and symptoms of all-encompassing doom and gloom. After focusing attention on society, let us be on polity. What kind of polity or situation in terms of polity has developed or is prevailing in our country? India has experienced cataclysmic changes in its administrative setup during last 1,000 years. Domestic Hindu rulers and foreign Muslim and Christian rulers have all been responsible for these developments, for these transformations. They have all played crucial roles in its journey during ancient, medieval, and modern India. Where India is today is all because of these developments. India is otherwise extremely rich in cultural heritage. India is extremely rich in cultural heritage mixed from all over the world due to contributions from all these rulers. These rulers may have brought or must have brought something bad, but they all brought their cultures, their cultural richness. And today's India is culturally rich because of contributions from all of these people. These developments make today's India that we all know since independence, since 1947. Since 1947, after gaining independence, India tried its best to chart a journey that is inclusive, growth-oriented, egalitarian, affluent, richness through a democratic setup. Democratic setup wanted an environment of freedom and equal rights for all to take India to new heights of social, financial, and political development and achievements. Democracy was thought to be the best kind of rule in India after 1947, and that is why India started its journey in that way. And this was the reason or goal for India to adopt the democratic setup of rules or system or governance. In 2020, after almost 75 years of freedom or independence from British rule, India is at crossroads full of crises not seen in centuries. Past is imperfect, present is tense, and future is uncertain. Past, we cannot do anything because it is gone. Gone is gone. Bygone is bygone. Present is tense, but we can correct the present. And by changing or transforming the present time into something good, will definitely have a good future, prosperous, promising future for us. But the kind of situation or circumstances we are in, present is tense and the future looks uncertain. Legislature, executive, and judiciary have all contributed to its present status, what we see experience in India. Political leadership at central and state levels are devoid of ideas badly needed or required to take India out of the morass it is in. Political leaders and parties have lust for power at any cost, even at the cost of national interest. They want a seat, they want power, they want chair, They want to be chief ministers, they want to be the prime minister at any cost, even at the cost of the country, India. Political class is utterly selfish and corrupt. Elections come and go, but nothing changes, despite political leaders and parties issuing manifestos detailing the steps they will take once they are in power to change the course of the country or a state, or to bring or to take the society out of poverty, bad health systems, bad education systems, and everything, to make society richer, healthier, wealthier. Political leadership appears clueless about the policies required to empower India to solve a major crisis like hunger, poverty, destitution, malnutrition, unemployment, loss of income, business loss, healthcare, education, lack of infrastructure, crimes against women and children, and corruption, etc., etc. Legislature failed completely when it passed legislations in the last monsoon session violating rule book adopted for years. You must have, or we have experienced in the last month, that is some 15-20 bills were passed in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and these were passed without adhering to the rule book, without adhering to the traditions, to the customs that are prevailing for last 4-5 decades or since independence. The ruling party behaved in such an autocratic or detrimental manner that it appears that the democratic system of governance today, it is on deathbed. It is no longer working, or it is no longer going to work. They want it to be dead. Parliament in India has perhaps lost its value, reason, and purpose. Executive looks up to the political leadership for directions to achieve the goals and objectives designed at the national level or a state level. It has also failed completely in implementing the policies effectively and successfully for a better India. Executive is falling short of expectations despite being resourceful, educated, and empowered. If it has lost self-belief and self-confidence, resulting into total loss of resource and willpower to execute decisions and policies at any level. Executive appears limbless, helpless, thoughtless, idealist, everything, whatever you want to call, or whatever way you want to present or give the definition to the executive today in the country. Judiciary today is perhaps focusing more on political correctness rather than legal correctness. Judiciary is taking care of political correctness more, it appears, by the decisions for the last 5-10 years. Last few judgments coming from various courts lead us to a situation wherein we feel that it is either compromised or has taken roles of a backup platform fulfilling government political objectives. It appears that it is more in the habit of, or getting into the habit of, following political bosses or political powers that be. And judiciary appears to be fulfilling their agenda, fulfilling their goals, fulfilling their objectives, instead of upholding the constitutional values, instead of upholding the interest of the common public, instead of upholding the interest of the country. Governments too, particularly central government, are creating complicated and difficult situations for courts in taking decisions involving public welfare or public wellness. What we are seeing particularly during the last 5-6 years is that government, central government especially particularly, is providing, or is rather creating, complicated situations for the courts to take a decision involving public welfare or wellness. It is on its own presenting certain additional data or additional facts or additional thoughts by which it is becoming difficult for courts to rule on something that involves public welfare and public wellness. Besides, judiciary perhaps has moved more into the shoes of the legislature and executive, interfering or adopting steps or decisions required to be taken by both the latter bodies. It appears that judiciary is taking the roles of legislature or executive. Instead of asking the legislature or the executive to do their own roles or their duties, judiciary is taking these roles and trying to do jobs which otherwise these two are required to do. All constitutional bodies are now decimated and neutralized beyond repair, ensuring loss of quality ideas and initiatives required for the better governance for the country. Now, after having discussion on society and politics, let us move to the economy. What kind of situation or circumstances prevailing when India's economy is concerned? In ancient and medieval India, the economy was much stronger. India was contributing a lot to the world economy. Life and lifestyle were much higher and better than today. People were mostly happy and contented. The slide in economy started with the attacks by foreign Muslim and Christian rulers, as their goal was mostly to loot and plunder the wealth and carry back to their own countries. By the time India got freedom from British rule in 1947, it became extremely poor, contributing less than 4% to the world economy. During medieval India, during the period of the Muslim rulers, India's economy was contributing almost 25, 30, 35% to the world economy. And that is why most of the countries in the world, they wanted to have trade relationships with the country, India. And they wanted to have some sort of relationship, and they wanted to always reach India. They always wanted to come to India so that they get benefits out of it. They are able to, increase their richness. They are able to improve upon their financial conditions, and that is why they were always looking forward to be in India. But from that situation to less than 4% to the world economy contributions by Indian economy, what was the truth or was the fact in 1947 when India got independence. With independence, it started its economic journey to be richer, wealthier, and happier. Growth story of India has been a mixed one, with temporary phases of higher rates of growth, but all along it has failed to fulfill the national goals and objectives like eradicating hunger, poverty, destitution. Further, the Indian economy never looked confident to address other related problems like reaching its full potential to make India an economic superpower. Despite being the seventh largest in terms of area, despite being second biggest in terms of population, and despite being economically a superpower or a powerhouse in terms of economy, India has not been accorded a permanent seat in the Security Council of the United Nations. It is still a temporary member. For 2 years it gets elected, and then it becomes a member of the Security Council extended net that consists of 15 members. But all despite following or despite having very largely very golden objectives, the objectives like eradicating hunger, poverty, destitution, India has never been successful. Further, the Indian economy never looked confident to address other related problems like reaching its full potential to make India an economic superpower. Just now I told you about this. The Indian leadership fluctuated between extreme sides and never allowed the economy to take shape, gain a strength to make India wealthy and prosperous, or Indians wealthy and prosperous. Decisions taken by the central government in the last few years have further complicated the situation. Decisions that have been taken now in 2020, because of all of them, we feel like living in a situation as if we have lost our capacity to earn. The general economic atmosphere is unenthusiastic and pessimistic. Decisions like crazy demonetization, hasty and unplanned GST, corona-induced, unprepared, and strictest national lockdown, etc., have all sucked the inherent strength out of the Indian economy, killing hope and pushing it to a dead corner. Businesses are finished, MSMEs are gone, unemployment is rampant, jobs are gone, income is lost, households are losing their hard-earned savings. The capacity and propensity to survive is also disappearing fast. The Indian economy is registering highest negative growth rate in comparison to other countries in the entire world. The economic prospects are bleakest for both the current financial year 2020-21 and the next financial year 2021-2022. It appears that the PM himself is most responsible for this hellish situation on the economic front. He and his union cabinet are proving to be the damp squib for India as a whole. This is what is the reality of today in terms of or vis-a-vis life and lifestyle of the nation. The society, the polity, and the economy are going through a very rough phase of the Indian history, particularly in the Indian history that has started after independence. Now, before we finish, let us have the final discussion where or what we should be doing. At present, the life and lifestyle in India appear to be based on the principles of Maharshi Charvak. I hope you all know what or who Maharshi Charvak was. While India is famous for its stories and achievements full of divine and human qualities, Maharshi Charvak actually he has propined or he has designed or implemented or announced one theory that says that yavad jivet shukham jivet renam grihitva ghritam pivet bhashmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamnam kutah. That means whatever you have today, whatever you want to do today, whatever howsoever you want to live today, just live and live. Don't worry about the future. India has lost momentum and mountain both. Unless something drastic is done, it is going to be extremely risky and lethal, socially, politically, and economically. A change of guard and governance setup or system at the central are the need of the hour at the central and state level, as most of the political leaders and parties are corrupt, criminal, and clueless. Legislature, executive, and judiciary are calling for a futuristic shake-up and overhauling. Indian constitution needs to be amended to make India the real world guru in the true senses. India needs to believe in the below mentioned philosophy and promote and make karma the factum principles. That means if India wants to develop, if India wants to have growth, if India wants to make its citizens happy, richer, wealthier, everything satisfied, then it must follow the rule karma, the factum principles. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन कर्म योग योगस्तः कुरु कर्माणि संग त्यक्त्वा धनंजय फलम नास्ति ध्येयम कर्म hi avasyamev. This should be the philosophy that India should follow. Thank you, friends. This was all for the discussion today, and I end the discussion with very best wishes for each one of you. Thank you. All the best.